Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you everyone for coming for this event. We are very privileged to have Josh Randy from Enscape to do the presentation today. He's very experienced in doing all these Enscape webinar, and in fact, he's a very famous common. Can I say it's a common face, okay, in presenting Enscape matters to a lot of people. So let's welcome Josh for this presentation. Okay, and by the way, I'm going to show you these are the 16 amazing features that we're going to show today. In fact, Reviso have a lot of very good features that we're going to just show these key 16 that are really amazing in using Enscape, and it's really a fast and easy tool. So it's really it's a dynamic tool to be used, and I believe it can really make a difference in our building industry, including for the interior designers. Okay, so for this let me stop sharing this one, and let's just welcome Josh doing this presentation for us today. Yay.
Thank you, Ben and Grace. Really appreciate it. It's going to be fun. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining today. So, like we said in the video, we can kind of see what Enscape's a little bit about. So what we're going to do is dive into some of the 16 features that Grace has told us about here. So let's start with the user interface. So Enscape, it's a plugin. So once you install it, it sits on top of your ribbon, and we can see up top here we got the Revit plugin. So once you install it, it sits on top of your ribbon here. So how you get a model from Revit inside of Enscape, all you have to do is hit the play button. From there, that's going to take everything inside of the Enscape or inside the Revit window, push that over inside of Enscape here. So how you're going to navigate around is using the WASD keys on your keyboard. There's a little menu that pops up over here on your far right-hand corner inside of the Enscape window. So it's going to, again, tell you how to navigate around using WASD keys on your keyboard. So W to move forward, A to move left, D to move right, S to move back. You can also right mouse click and do like a nice orbit around. You can also see in this menu here on how we can do some time of day changes. So we can hold down shift and right mouse click, hold down. And now we can change the time of the day interactively here. So we can really get a nice preview of what our building is going to look like at virtually any time of the day here, and really show our clients exactly what the space is going to look like at virtually any time of the day here. So really powerful to be able to do that. By default, Enscape's going to look at the Revit Sun settings of that view. Or if we go up to our little icon button or the binoculars button right here, this is going to show you all the different 3D views that you have set up inside of Revit. And if you click on any one of these different views, you can actually save the Enscape sun position as well. So if we click on the little edit button here, this is where you can actually get into the different views and again, save the exact sun position. So this is where you can have different views set up, and then you can have different times of day set up for each individual view. So you can really control how you want that all to look here.
Josh, sorry.
Yeah.
Is this what you show now in the interface of Revit is the same as the interface in SketchUp? Because we plan to
great question. Yep, everything
show
that I
the
was
first 13 things. We thought we were going to show the first 12 things in SketchUp. But is it the same as we show it in
Oh,
Revit?
we're showing this in SketchUp?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Yep. So everything I'm showing you will be the exact same thing. And so I'll show it in Revit. Everything that I'm showing you will be the exact same thing inside of SketchUp. The exact interface as well. So the whole interface here will be the exact one that's in SketchUp, and also inside the Enscape ribbon, it'd be the exact same way inside SketchUp. There's two features that we'll get into later that are just for Revit specifically that are not in SketchUp, but again, we'll get to those later.
Okay.
So then for the different, so then for the different interface tools here, I can full screen the Enscape toolbar. So inside of the Enscape window here, we have our collaborative annotations tab, our BIM mode. Again, we're going to get to more in depth on what these tools are. View management, asset library, site context is what we'll get into, our video editor. And here's where we have our different render options on how to get our designs to our clients. You can also navigate around over here using our little mini map. So what you can do now is you can click anywhere inside of this little map, and it'll navigate you to wherever you start clicking. Our show safe frame button, we'll get into that when we talk about renderings. And then we also have different perspective modes as well. So you can do perspective mode, 2-point perspective, or you can do an orthographic mode as well. And then we also have the different modes. So you have walk mode and fly mode. So the difference between the two is fly mode, you can fly through walls, you can fly through floors, ceilings, anything like that. But the minute I hit spacebar or go up to where it says walk mode, I click walk, and now I cannot walk through, I can only walk through windows and doors, but I'm not going to be able to walk through couches or any solid object anymore. So it's going to really be like a true real-time walkthrough. And then we also have virtual reality, which we'll talk about later. And then we have our visual settings tab. This tab is going to control the whole look and feel of the Enscape window inside of there. You can also save anything in that visual settings tab and assign that to a view. So you could have different looks and feels for each individual view. And then our Enscape window setting. This is where you have some different options to customize the Enscape window. There's also an option to pin Enscape on top of your host application. So if you're working on a single monitor, you could have Enscape just being a little floating window inside of Revit or SketchUp. So those were all that was the interface inside of Revit here. And again, it's the exact same thing inside of SketchUp. So we can also look at what this would look like inside of Revit here. So I can full screen inside of Revit. So we have, again, the start button. Then we have the different synchronized views button. So that's where wherever I'm navigating inside of Revit, the Enscape view will stay the same. Then we have our active document. This is where it's going to tell which view you want to launch Enscape from. Then we also have our render image in the document. This is a Revit specific one that is not inside of SketchUp. Again, we'll get into this in a second. We also have the asset library button inside of Revit. We'll get into those too. And we have our materials. So we are our material library and then our material editor. And then our uploads management tab. This is where you're going to get to your panoramas, so your QR codes as well, and the link for those, and also your web standalone. Then we also have this place sound source on selected surface, where you can actually place little sound sources throughout your model. So when you're walking closer to something like an object, it'll start playing that sound. And then our general settings tab. This is where we have some different features for hardware accelerated ray tracing. Also by default, Enscape is going to look at the appearance tab. If you need to, you can also switch Enscape to look at just the graphics tab. Again, this is just a Revit specific one as well.
Just,
and we also have
sorry, just stop you a while. How come in my screen and your above have something that blocking the Enscape interview? Yeah, in my screen, your Revit, the on top bar is blocking the view. Like from your render image to your about, there's something on top that blocking it. Is that the same thing at your side? Is that the same view as your side?
Oh.
Something on top, yes. Now where your mouse is just now, yes, you see when you click, something end up blocking it. Is it?
Okay, there we go. How about that? Is that better?
Oh yeah, now it's okay already. Okay, thanks.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect.
But okay, now okay already. Yes, something wrong just now. Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and then we have our feedback button. This is where if you run into a crash or something with Enscape, you just go to this feedback button, you type your name, your email, and then the subject, and then what the issue was and what happened. And then also be sure to include these log files. This will get sent to our support agents where they'll pick up the case and be able to see exactly what was going on at the time of the crash and really help out and figure out and get you information faster on what happened. And then we also have the About tab. This is where you're going to place in your licenses. So if you guys get an Enscape license, you're going to have to go to About and then Manage Licenses and then import your license key as well. So that's where you can get information about your license as well. All right, so that was the user interface. So now how we're working inside of Enscape. There's a couple different tools that we're going to look at here. So there's the Link Enscape Assets Revit family we'll look at, and then we'll look at the collaborative annotations in the BIM mode. And then from there, we'll get into the different render options as well on how to get our designs to our clients. So we'll look at the BIM mode, and for this, I'll have Enscape full screen. So the first one we'll look at is what we call our collaborative annotations tab. So this is where inside of the Enscape window, we go to this little button on the far left-hand corner. It's called our collaborative annotations tab. So let's say we're navigating around and we're doing a design review with the client and we see something that come up like an issue. So what you're going to do is hit this little create issue button, call it what you need to or what needs to happen. So let's say add window. And I can change the state of this as well to new, to done, in progress, new, or removed. I'm going to hit create. What this is going to do when you move away, it's going to create a little marker for you. So you're going to see the title, and then you can also see the description of what was going on in there. To edit this, all you do is click back in there. Then you can make comments as well, saying like, hey, we'll change after lunch or something. You can hit save. And all those notes are going to stay inside of the project. And the only way you can see these, so notice when I get out of the collaborative annotations tab, I'm not able to see it anymore. So I have to be inside the collaborative annotations mode for this to be seen. I can also, so say we're working in a team environment, and then I need to send over my issues that I've created as well. It's going to save to the project, but you can also export these issues as a BCF file. So I can pass this off to our team of designers as well. They can import the issues, and they'll see all the issues that we've created as well. And again, once we're done making changes to it, we can change the state to done, click save, and then I can hit show all of them. So that's going to show me all the issues that we've created throughout our model. So that's our collaborative annotations feature. Also, while we're working, is we have this mode called BIM mode here.
Can I
So-
check with you? Just now you said that BIM mode, that thing, is it the files? If it's from Revit, it will save inside the Revit files together. So
Yep.
that when people open up the Revit file, so likewise for SketchUp files. No, this is the BIM mode.
So this BIM mode, like the BIM mode is there in SketchUp, but it's not going to have any of the information like Revit will.
Okay, yeah, but
So
the collaboration thing will work. Annotation.
Yeah, the collaborative annotations tab will work inside of SketchUp.
Okay,
well.
just that it will save inside the SketchUp files. So whoever
Yep.
open it up will see.
Yep, exactly correct.
Okay, thank you.
So now while we're working, we have, again, this feature called BIM mode. So this is where I can click on any object inside of my model here, and I can pull up the BIM information, which is pulling from the Revit properties tab of that object. And I can see all the different information that I need to from there. So I can see the different materials, I can see the different family types that were in there, the type ID, phase it's on as well. So it's a great way if you're working on larger models as well, and you're doing a design review, if you need to see something very quick on what that object is, you can see exactly what it's going to be just by, again, selecting D or clicking the BIM mode as well. And again, just simply clicking on anything inside of that, inside of the Enscape window to show exactly what it is going to be. So the next feature that we have is our link Enscape assets to Revit families. So if we go, so let me split the screen here. So we have here, 3D view, go back to my 3D view. Okay, perfect. So let's go down here. So what we have here is just a generic Revit family. So if we notice when we're in plan view, here's what the Enscape assets look like. So we can see they're triangulated, pretty high in topology as well too, or not very high in topology at all, but we can see exactly what these are looking like. So what we're going to, versus a Revit family, which is clean, lightweight, scheduling correctly. By default, all of Enscape assets will come in under the planting category. So it makes it hard to schedule it as well. Versus Revit family comes in under the correct type. But so this is Revit family right now, but we want it to look a little bit better. So what we're going to do is go to, again, back to the Enscape tab, and I'm going to hit my asset library button. So now what it's going to do is I'm going to search for, say, I want a bench. So I can go to benches, say, here, I want this bench. So what I'm going to do is hover over the custom asset or the 3D asset I want, click the three little dots on the far right-hand corner here. I'm going to hit this link Revit family to asset. Now a window is going to pop up showing me all the different Revit families I have inside of my project. And I can simply pick the Revit family I want to associate to that Enscape asset. So now all I have to do is click OK. And now what that's going to do is that's going to show me inside of Revit. It's still going to display my Revit. Here, let's get that out of the way. There we go. So it's going to still show the Revit family inside of Revit, still going to schedule correctly and whatnot, still look really good in plan view as well too. But my Enscape model is going to display the nice high quality 3D asset. So that's a great way where we can keep our Revit model looking good, scheduling correctly, clean, lightweight as well too. again, this is just a Revit specific feature as well. So that's our link Enscape assets to Revit families. So now on the topic of assets, we have the ability as well inside of our asset library to download the assets offline, because by default it's going to start download. It's gonna pull it all from our cloud. So depending on the internet connection, they could load a little bit slower. But now how I can speed through each one of these different assets is because I have this offline asset library checked. So what you're going to do first is create a new folder called Enscape Assets. And then once you check that offline assets button, it's going to ask you to go to a folder that you would like to download this to. So set it to that new folder that you've created. And from there, it's going to download all of our assets to your local machine. It's about 6 gigs worth of content. So then from there, you can start scrolling through all the different assets and seeing exactly what they're looking like without having to sit there and wait for them to load and refresh. So that's our offline assets. And again, now inside the asset library button, we also have the ability to create custom assets. So a lot of times we need manufacturer specific content, or we need something that we do not see in the Enscape asset library. So how you're going to do that is you go up to the custom assets library. You're going to click this little plus button to add in. So that's going to take you to the next window. And then from here, what you're going to do is, so I'll just show you guys a couple that I've already created. So if you have an OBJ file, an FBX file, or a GLTF file, there's going to be a button that pops up saying import. And then from here, a preview of the Enscape asset is going to be, or the 3D model is going to be showing up here. You can assign materials that came with that custom asset inside of here as well, just by going in and again applying the different materials to the spots. You set the size accordingly on how you want it to be, and then the y-axis is going to be up. And then from here, all you got to do is click create thumbnail, because that's going to be the main image that you see inside of your library. And then from here, what you could do is you just hit save, and it's going to create an Enscape custom asset for you. And it's going to show up inside of your custom assets library. New in 3.4, we also have the ability as well to set categories for these custom assets. So I have this one currently set to my interior chairs category. So when I exit out of here, I can see when I go to my interior chairs category, I'm going to see all my different custom assets that are under that category. Now I can go make changes to any of those if I want, just by reassigning which category it's to. This library is also shareable. So when you start creating a new custom asset, you have to set a folder for all those custom assets to go. So I have mine on my documents folder. So I have a custom assets folder. This is where all these different custom assets are going to live. And now this library is, again, it's your library, so it's completely shareable. All you have to do is copy all the files that are inside of here, send that to your team members. They just put this in their folder that they've created, set up for their custom library, and they'll see all the custom assets that you've created. So very powerful workflow on that to create custom Enscape content. There's a lot of good resources out there to find content. We can get a resource file or resource document sent over. We had a great blog article, 40 great resources to get content. So there's a lot of good websites for materials, custom assets as well inside of there. So a lot of really great resources that we can link you to.
Josh, can I check with you? Just now I saw that your folders is in your local machine, I think. Can this folder be actually put inside the share folders? Because some company, they have network drive that they put their files in the share folders.
Yep. No, great question. It's always best to have those files locally on your machine. Just that way, just because it's a lot faster and to avoid any hiccups in the network, because then you could run into crashing that way. So it's always best to have the files locally on your machine.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So now once our model is getting ready, we're getting close to doing a rendering. We have this button called the Show Safe Frame button. So I will full screen Enscape now. So here we go. All right, perfect. So let's say I want to do this rendering here. So if I do this rendering, I think everything inside the Enscape window is going to be rendered. But this is where the Show Safe Frame button comes in. So this is where it's going to show me, you can see here, I'm going to get the crop regions of what's going to be my final rendering. And these are determined by, if you go into the visual settings tab here, and you go to the output tab. This is where you're going to set the output resolution for your final renderings. So by default, you can do 1920 by 1080. You can do ultra, which is 4K. And then you can also set a custom size too. So if you need to do like a more vertical rendering, we can see my crop regions are updating instantaneously for me. So then I can adjust my shot accordingly on how I want that to look. Let's just say I want to do a 1920 by 1080. Perfect. So I always work with this feature on before I get ready to do renderings, just so I have a good idea and I can adjust my shot accordingly on what I want that to be. So let's say, yeah, let's get a nice time of day shot here. Okay, cool. This, if I want this one. All right. So if you plan on going to Photoshop afterwards, we do have a couple extra options that will help in Photoshop compositing. So we have right here, object ID map, material ID, depth channel, and alpha channel. And then you have to enable the alpha channel inside of here. And now if I'm ready to do a rendering, all I have to simply do is hit the take screenshot button, because Enscape is a real-time rendering engine. So when I'm navigating around, it's going to constantly be rendering. So pretty much what you see inside the Enscape window is what you should get for your final rendering. So all I have to do is hit this take screenshot button, tell it where I would like to save to, and we're going to let it render. So there we go, very fast. So now all I have to do is go to my pictures, and here's the different material maps that you get. So here is the main image, and we can see it's already got the alpha channel applied to it. Here's the depth map channel. Here's the alpha mask channel, the material ID, and the object ID map. So then you can bring those into Photoshop and start doing some compositing, start utilizing these object ID map and material ID map for quick selection sets to really help keep working inside of Photoshop some more. And then also we do have the ability as well to do batch rendering. So you can take any different 3D view that you have set up inside your SketchUp project or your Revit project, and it'll start rendering those one right after another. Again, all these features are inside the SketchUp one as well. So, okay. So that was our still images. The next one that we have is what we call our video editor. So this is where you can actually do video walkthroughs. So what we're going to do here is go to our video editor. And let's say I want to do a nice shot where it's kind of panning around the outside here. All I have to do is simply hit the plus button down on the bottom right-hand corner to add a keyframe. That's basically going to be the point that we want to start from. And then let's just say I want to navigate over here. This be a nice shot, and I kind of want to adjust it right here. All I have to do is hit the plus button again to keep adding keyframes on where I want to go. But if I just want to preview what this looks like right now, all I have to do is simply hit the preview button. And I'm going to get a nice preview of what this animation is looking like here. Now, at any time, I can make changes to this just by clicking on the keyframe and updating the position, and just clicking the update button. And from there, the positions are going to update. We can also do some really interesting things as well by clicking inside the keyframe. This is where I'm going to get some keyframe overrides. So let's say I want to do a nice time lapse. I want to simply start and add a keyframe right here. Let's say I want it to be, we're going to do, let's say like 7:30 a.m. for this shot here. And I'm going to click the update button from here. And now I'm going to go to the last keyframe. And I want this one to be, say, 7 p.m. Perfect. I'm going to click the update button. And now again, I can preview what this is going to look like. So I'm getting a nice preview of my time of day changing. There we go. So it's going to just go from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. here. We'll start to go to nighttime mode. Perfect. And if I like this and I'm ready to export it, all I have to do is go to the export options. And then from here, I'll get the export options on what I want that final resolution to be. So again, we can do full HD, ultra HD, set the compression quality as well, and then frames per second. So then you click export and you get a nice MP4 file that you can send to your client, you can put on social media, put on your website. One other thing to note too, while you are working in a group environment, if other people need to get access to the video editor or to the video files, you click the 3 lines up top. And from here, this is where you could save the path as a file, send that to your coworker, and they just load the path. And from there, they can see the video path that you were working off of, make changes to it and whatnot. Okay, let's go back to the daytime mode here. Perfect. Okay, so the next feature that we have to get our designs to our clients is what we call our panoramas. So does everybody have their cell phone on them? Would like to do some QR code. So let's see here. I have some QR codes here. There we go. QR code, perfect. Okay, cool. So if everybody wouldn't mind scanning this QR code, it should ask you to go to a web link and then allow for immersive mode. And from here, you'll be able to see inside that building that I'm working off of right now. You can, so this is a great way to get your designs over to your clients on a mobile device. You can also take these and put them on a set of construction documents, because a lot of times contractors and clients can't really look at a set of drawings and think of what the space is going to look like. So this is a great way we can just add these into the drawing. So you can, so this was for the living room. I can just take this and put it on the living room, and then they can scan it with their phone. We're seeing this be used a lot as well too, where companies are, if there are new developments going up, they'll take these QR codes and put it on the job board outside the job site. So people in the community can walk by and scan it with their phones as well. Perfect. So hopefully everybody's able to get that on your phone. And how you do that is, so where I took that one from was inside of here. Perfect. So now all I gotta do is go up to this 360 button here, click the drop down for a mono or a stereo. The difference is stereo just give the option to go to Google Cardboard. That's where it's literally a pair, it's a piece of cardboard with two pieces of glass in there, and you stick your phone in there, and you can kind of spin around it inside of VR. And then once it's done generating, we're going to go back inside of Revit here. And then we're going to go to our Uploads Management tab now to get access to those panoramas. And then from here, again, this is where you're gonna upload this to our cloud storage system by clicking this little upload arrow button. And from there, that again uploads that to our cloud storage system where it's housed. And then there's gonna be 3 little dots that come up now. And what you can do is you can save this QR code as a file, or you can also copy the link address that it's tied to and email that to your clients. From there, they just click that link and the web browser is going to pull up with the panorama so they can spin around it. There's also a really cool option. So say you make a design change to the model, you just regenerate the panorama, and then there's this little replace button. So from here, you click the replace button, and it's going to ask you which panorama you want to replace with. So you pick the one that you want to replace it with. And it's going to tell you that QR code is now going to go to this panorama. So it's a really cool way where you can just send one QR code to your clients, and that's going to be their QR code for the project's lifecycle. So you don't have to sit there and keep sending them new ones. You can just sit there and tell them to refresh it each time you make a change to the model. So that's for one panorama. If we want to do multiple different panoramas, you have to go to your Enscape account. So go log into Enscape and then log in, and then go to your Uploads tab here. And then from here, this is where you have the ability to create a model panorama gallery. So you're going to select the project that you want to do your panoramas from. Again, after these are all uploaded, they'll show up inside your Enscape account. And from here, you're going to create mono panorama gallery. Select all the different panoramas that you would like to be in your gallery. And from here, this is where it's going to create a gallery for you. So you can start adjusting these to whichever sequence you want. So this is the gallery right here. I can start clicking to different ones. We also have the option to do what we call tour mode. So we can show all of the different panoramas I've taken. And now these little markers show up. So now I can click to each individual one that I want, and it's going to teleport me to the different ones. It's also geolocated inside the project. So I'm going to be able to see exactly where those panoramas were taken from inside the project. And this is just a link that you can email to your clients, and they can navigate this model just exactly like we are here too. So that was our couple different ways we can get our designs over to our clients. The last feature that we have is what we call our web standalone. So this is where we're going to choose an exe file here. So let me make Enscape full screen. So we can go exe button, click the drop down. This is where it's going to call it a web standalone. So how we're navigating around the model, changing the time of day, really exploring the model, we can give our clients that same experience too via this web standalone. So what you're going to do is just click the web standalone. It's going to take everything inside the Enscape window, and it's going to create a little viewer for you. And it's a link that you email to your clients. They click this link, a web version is going to pull up, and from there they can again navigate the model, change the time of the day, they can freely explore the model. So really powerful thing to be able to show your clients. So two other features, or our last two features, one of them is called our site context feature. So this is where you can take and use OpenStreetMap data to pull in site data and create massing models out of it based on OpenStreetMap. So what you're going to do is go to the site context feature here. This is where we can go add site context. We can pick anywhere in the world. So we can pick, say, Singapore. There we go. And now we can pick anywhere in Singapore that we want. Or if you have a specific address, you can definitely type in that address as well. So why don't we, well, so all I'm going to do is pick the little marker. And let's say I want to put this one right here. And now all I gotta do is just fit to window again. And then I can adjust the size of this as well too if I want to pull in more data. So let's go right there. All right, perfect. So now all I'm going to do is click import. And again, what this is going to do, this is going to reach out to OpenStreetMap data and pull in all that information from there. So we can see that's as fast as it took to import. Now we have some massing models as well. We have the ability to select the road. And again, if it's an OpenStreetMap and it has that data, we'll be able to see it. So now we can see this is this particular road. Same with the buildings. You can select those. You can hide those as well too. And how my building's a little bit sunken in. What you're going to do is go to the edit button and then hit edit site context. And now what you can do is you can adjust the site. Perfect. There we go. We can rotate this. Obviously, my building was not meant to be in this particular spot, built for more of a mountainous range, but we get the idea. So then I can also rotate this. And now if I'm ready, I can hit confirm changes. I can really see exactly what the space is going to look like inside of, and do some really nice sun studies as well too by changing the time of day. And also if I go into, do some nice things too, when I go into orthographic mode, it's going to give him a really cool orthogonal view look to it. So we can do some nice sun studies as well. One little tip, if you hit 5 on your number pad, it should take you to top-down view. So get a really nice look for it. And then also if I ever need to update the site context as well, just to add more site in there, all I have to do is click update site and then expand that view, how much I want that to be. There we go, cool. I'll click import. And again, it's going to reach back out to OpenStreetMap and pull in all the new information for that site. There we go, perfect. Cool. So now we can see, yep. Awesome. Now we can see exactly what that space is looking like inside of, in the context of where it is. I'll go back to perspective mode. Perfect. Cool. And one thing to note is this will only live inside of the Enscape window. So it won't be seen inside of Revit. Okay, let me just edit this quick. I'll pull it down a bit. Perfect. Cool. All right, so that's our site context feature. And again, you can do some really nice sun studies with that as well too. If you're doing the video, we can do a nice time lapse as well. Get some really nice looks to it that we're going for. Now the last one is VR. So
Sorry,
Enscape's
Josh, hold on a while. I want to ask you about this site contact. How about the Google Earth? Because Google Earth has even more interesting.
Yeah, to get the images on there.
Yes.
Yep. So unfortunately, there's currently no way right now to get that onto the map. So it's just in grayscale mode, but it's definitely something that we're looking into.
Yeah. So will you all be looking into integrate this site contact with Google Earth?
Not sure about Google Earth, but we're looking at ways to get that data with the texture maps inside of there.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, so the last one is VR. So Enscape's a one-click VR solution. So all you have to do is have your VR headset hooked up and click this virtual reality button right here. From there, what that's going to do is that's going to take everything inside the Enscape window and you're going to be able to see what the person in the headset's seeing. So if I move my physical head right, the whole Enscape window is going to move right. VR is a very, very powerful way to be able to show your clients exactly what the space is going to look like in a true one-to-one scale sense. So, because a lot of times you can send them a still rendering, you can send them a video, even a panorama, like it looks really great. But when they're feeling how that space is going to look and feel, and at the actual size, and they can walk around there and see exactly and feel exactly, that's when they're going to start making even more decisions based on their feelings. So it's a very, very powerful way for our clients to be able to see what the space is going to look like. And the best part is too, with it being a real-time rendering engine and live linking to and a plugin for our design applications, whatever I change in the host design application, it's going to update for them in the headset in real time. So that's where that real power comes in. And if you do a design review with them and they see something inside of VR that they want to change, you can change it inside of Revit or SketchUp, and it's going to update for them in real time in the headset. So that's where that workflow really comes into play, and it's very, very powerful. Just being able to make changes on the fly or instantaneously and have them see it. You can sit there and change out materials so they can see them very, very quickly. Try out different things as well too. So the VR feature is a very powerful feature. And with that, that was all of our 16 features. So thank you so much, Grace, for having us.
Thank you. Yeah, that's very fast in doing the thing. Just take note, the VR is really a plug and play. So that's the good thing about Enscape. It's actually very easy to use and very easy to learn also. Okay. Yeah. So let me back to show the 16 features. Okay. So this is the 16 features that we have covered in Enscape. Okay. So do you have any questions? Any question from the audience? If not, then I'll just show you my website first.
Hi, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have some questions. From what I know previously, Enscape is totally host-based. You need the operating tools to work with. Is it still like this?
Sorry, I can't hear your question clearly. Can you repeat?
Yeah, last time I know Enscape is host-based. You need Revit or SketchUp or other offering tools to work. Is it still like this? Cannot run standalone?
It's not run on standalone. It's a plugin. It's a
plugin based.
Yeah.
Is it able to create multiple theme model into one scene?
Yeah, so the key good thing about Enscape is why is it is a plugin tool, because we do our model in Revit, in SketchUp, we don't need to export. If you want it to be Enscape to be a standalone tool, then you need to export your models from Revit, from SketchUp, and then import into Enscape itself. In this way, it will take extra time. Yeah. But the good thing about Enscape is that whatever you change in your Revit or SketchUp, it will immediately reflect in Enscape. So actually, this is the strength of Enscape for being a plugin tool instead of a standalone by itself. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand the pros and the cons in this way. Is it able to merge other models into current model?
So if you want to merge any model, you have to merge it in the modeling tool itself, and whether it's in SketchUp or in Revit, you have to link them in before you can see the whole thing in Enscape itself. Yeah.
Okay, that should be one of the problems. For example, if you are working on the SketchUp, you cannot link the Revit model.
Yeah. So that one, if you want to see both model, you have to software like Reviso that can merge the two model in its own platform. And so that's why it's different thing. Yeah.
Okay, so good. Understand. Great. So the working model still same as before. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, Ken, thank you. Yeah. So let me show you my website first. The key thing I want to show you, I have one website on Enscape. It's generally the update of Enscape and also a summary of Enscape. Just to take note, if you are interested, after you see this and you are interested to just give it a try, if you are new to Enscape, you can just click on the download. Okay, and you can just download whether you want the Enscape for Windows or Enscape for Mac. Okay, it's there, and the version that you support is also shown here. Okay, so you can download this to try for 14 days if you want. Okay, that's one thing. Yeah, another thing is that also there's a YouTube training material there. If you are new to it and you want to learn, there's this link that go to all their YouTube. Whether you want to learn it for SketchUp or you want to learn it for Revit or other tool, it's all shown in here. And also, you also already have it for Macintosh. So that's something very cool, yeah, for Enscape. So that's the thing that I shown you. Okay, and let me show you also in here first. Okay, so this year I have known Enscape since actually back in maybe even 2014 or 2015. I have been already start using Enscape, and I've been sharing this wonderful tool to Singapore market. So for this year, this October, it will be my 6th anniversary. Yeah, of my business, and my business I start by is promoting Enscape. Okay, so in October we will have a 10% discount. Yeah, for all the newly subscribed yearly subscription Enscape license on October. So if you want to try it out, you can try out for 2 weeks, and then in October, for the whole month of October, we will roll out this 10% discount. Okay, or else most of the time we don't have this kind of discount, but in October we will have this discount for my business or celebration of our anniversary. Okay, yes, yeah, so that's the key thing to show. Yeah, do you have any more questions? If not, after the session, we will also upload this into YouTube and we'll share the link with you all. Okay.
I agree with that. Yeah, I do have another question.
Okay.
I noticed the Inkscape can apply the material in its own way. Right? It's not the Revit material anymore. After it applies all the material, can it be exported in some way for other modeling tools to use?
Sorry,
So
I
when
don't
you
quite understand your question. But the material that you apply actually will go directly to the Revit file itself. So the material will be there. Yeah.
Based on my experience, because one of my consultants is using Inkscape, and their model have many materials doesn't
Okay. Yeah. So then, so Josh, do you able to answer that question? How is there an easy way for them to import the material? Are you referring to the Revit files?
Yes. Is there any way to export? For example, if Revit doesn't support, can you export another one like OBJ or SPX?
Yeah, I understand. Just in my understanding is because there's a file path. So some of the Enscape users, they use the material they created in their own computer, but when they bring their files give to other people, they didn't give them the material file. Is there a fast way for those Enscape users to give the Revit file with the material along? Is there a fast way?
Yep. So there's one way to do it. What you could do is let's go to our Enscape material.
Yeah, your top part block again. Okay. Okay. Now, okay. Yeah.
So if you go to our Enscape material editor, this is going to
Yeah.
show you all the different materials that you have inside your project.
Yeah.
So if you hover over them, click the 3 dots, and then from there, if you click export material package, that's going to export an Enscape material for you. So if they send that to you, all you have to do is click the import button, and you can import all the materials in there, and it's going to push those inside of your design application.
Josh, but if we do it in this way, it will be one by one on all this material. Is it possible to do a whole batch of all the new material?
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately not. That's something that we're looking into.
Okay.
Okay, by this way, the the user, for example, it's me, I also need the Enscape to work.
You would just need, yeah, you would just need Enscape and then throw that Enscape material editor and then just batch import. Or if
So
they,
say if I don't have Enscape, but I still want to do some rendering in, say, 3ds Max, is it possible?
you can still get, so when you say you have an Enscape material, what you can do is once you pick one of them, you have to set this folder to that location that you want it to go to. Once you import it, then you can get access to the individual material maps for there that you can use inside of, say, 3ds Max. They can get access
So this
to,
library can be exported.
yeah.
Okay.
So then you can, yep. And each material will have at least an albedo map, a roughness map, and a normal map. So,
Okay,
Okay, thanks.
yep, you're welcome.
thank you. Yeah, thanks Wong Wei for the question. Yeah. Yeah. Any more question? Yeah. If no more question, then thanks everyone for coming. Yeah, if you have any more question, feel free to ask me. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I can put inside my link. Yeah, actually it's the same email. Anyway, I will send you an email and you will get my email address. Okay, Ken? Yeah, thanks everyone for coming. Yeah.